All right, so let's talk this conundrum that the industry faces. We're going to look at this from the company standpoint. We're always looking at the consumer standpoint, but from the companies, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Dish, whatever, whoever is selling unlimited data plans, all we hear is that growth is slow. Their margins are squeezed. The revenue growth is a very low single-digit percentage, and it's not good enough. We got all this investment into the network, blah blah blah. All we hear is all this complaining, right? And how we're not getting a return on invested capital, whatever. What are we supposed to do as the consumer? Absolutely nothing. Our business is to shop for the best deals, get the most value for our dollars. That is our responsibilities. Now, for the companies that build the networks and operate them and sell them, it is their job to monetize, optimize, create the most surface area to create as much revenue as they can. These battles are ongoing every day in the industry and every day in the marketplace. So I want to make sure we put that out there as the framework for this video. Now, when it comes to unlimited data plans and the potential of carriers, providers, and people who sell networks and the companies, it's up to them to decide how they're going to sell data and how they're going to sell network access. There's a bunch of talk of unlimited data plans going by the wayside. I don't really care one way or the other. I, as the customer, will adopt whatever I decide I want to based on what's available to me. If I need an unlimited data plan, I will pay for it. If I don't need an unlimited plan and I need a 25 gig plan or a 50 gig plan, then I'll pay for that. That is my decision. Those are my needs, and I'll make that decision accordingly. Now, for what it's worth, I think people are adjusting and making changes to their usage patterns. In fact, the growth of the data usage of people, the growth is starting to slow. Yes, people are using more data than they ever have, and they're continuing to grow a year over year basis, more and more data each year. But that growth rate is slowing. So the carriers are trying to build these networks with all this incredible capacity, and they're trying to keep up with usage. But there's actually going to be a point where the carriers have actually overbuilt their network and they have excess capacity. Proof that this has happened is they are now selling 5G home internet over wireless networks. This is 100% proof that there is indeed excess capacity available on the network, and they are willing to sell it to people for $30, $40, $50, and $60 a month, which is lower than the wireless customer cost, who uses just a small fraction of the data that the home internet user does. Do you see how things are backwards? How are we going to have companies complaining about ARPU and ARPA and revenues, and they're willing to sell their network for a fraction of the price for 20x the usage? This is how you know that this shit doesn't make any sense. But it leads me on to this next point. Are we going to lose unlimited data plans? The instant answer is no. We are not going to lose unlimited data plans, because if we lose unlimited data plans, people are going to stop spending as much money as the providers. They will not spend $90 a month to get 50 gigs of data, but they will spend $90 a month for an unlimited data plan. And the providers know it. So anybody who frames it any other way is not only being disingenuous and hyperbolic, but they're also being ignorant. And they're pretending like that's not true, or they can't see it that way. Folks, when the providers went unlimited, it was to get people to spend more money with them, making them think they needed more than what they actually needed. What percentage of people actually use more than 20 gigs of data in a month? It's a bell-shaped curve. A bulk majority of people hang around 20 gigs of data per month. 20, 25, maybe 30. Then at the edges of that bell-shaped curve are the extreme use cases where people are using 100 gigs of data, or 200, or 500, or a terabyte. They are at the far extremes. The same way that, there's a small number of customers who use less than 1 gig of data. Where I'm going with this, all this talk about network slices and all this talk about losing unlimited data plans, it is not going anywhere anytime soon, meaning in the near term or even the midterm. A conversation can be had for carriers trying to find unique and special ways to create network slices in which they can offer enhanced connectivity. There's going to be a point where these network builders and these network sellers are going to have to decide, am I going to get someone to take a slice on my network, not just have a phone on my network? I think that's where they need to shift their focus to. Access that is going to be special, access that is going to be unique. So until the time and until the day comes when they stop selling prepaid plans for $30 and $40 and $50 a month with the same network access as a $90 postpaid plan, this is what we're going to be seeing. And I don't think it's going to change immediately or in the near term or the midterm. But I do think when you start looking at network slices and latency and enhanced connectivity, that's where going to be where they can monetize. And that's where things can be a little bit different. We've got to get our minds wrapped around this concept. There is a constant battle, tug of war happening between the company trying to sell their services and products and the customer and what they're willing to pay. Your job is to get the best deal and the best network access and what you're willing to pay for. Their job is to sell it to you. And how much you're willing to pay is how much they will need to sell it to you for. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know. Drop me some comments. And what do you think is going to happen in the near term, midterm, and then the long term? And what do you want to see from them in order for you to take these network slices, these unique accesses? And what do you need from your wireless provider? You tell me. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to drop me those comments. Check out some more of our videos, and we'll see you guys on the next one.